Ubisoft throws their hat into the Battle Royale ring with Hyper Scape. Next-gen game prices may be increasing, and a Fallout TV series is in development. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 238 of the It's Obvious podcast. My name's Garrett Drake. I'm joined online by Jacob Alka.
Hey, man.
And Preston Pugh.
How's it going?
Jacob, do me a favor. Dip your chest up just a hair for me there. Oh, there it is. Well, a little lower. Right?
Let's see this right here.
No, we don't need the Braves, man. We need the
These?
Nike symbol. Because Jacob got on the call this morning. I thought you and Preston were wearing the exact same shirt, and I thought, how embarrassing. But
That would be really embarrassing.
it's not
They are,
nearly as cool as my
In
shirt.
fact, not even close to looking alike besides
The Nike symbol, yeah. So it's funny because with the shirt Preston's wearing, I basically have the same one.
Mhm.
And I actually considered wearing it this morning, but you don't choose the Nike shirt over the 90s animated Spider-Man shirt. So
Oh, 100% you're right. Yeah.
I think I made the right decision this morning,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I look exceptionally more fashionable than both of you combined.
You
So-
do. Yeah.
I apologize for that, but it is great to see you both this morning. It is Sunday, July 5th, 2020. The world is still intact in spite of the dissension surrounding us. I had a very happy 4th of July with Preston at the lake with our buddies Kyle Lance, Zach Bynum, his family, great friends, beautiful sunny day, went tubing, went on the boat, played some water basketball, flew my drone around, crashed it into a tree, it lived. It was a great day overall. So
How
was
high
your
up
4th
was
of
it?
July? It was not very high. I was going over some trees, and before I reached this patch of trees, I was ascending. And I knew that by the time I reached them, I should be over the tree line. But the latency on my connection glitched out for a second. There was like a full 3 seconds where I didn't see my screen. And when it came back, I nipped a tree and it just fell through trees and hit the ground. And Zach's dad had gone to a forest with a machete and cut it out. But we found it. It still works. So got some great footage, though.
Did your heart sink whenever?
Oh, yeah, dude.
crashed?
I'm literally watching my screen, my drone fall through
You're like
trees. Exactly. So it was horrifying, but it is damaged. It still flies and gets great footage. I'm going to send it in for repairs. Thankfully, I got both insurance and the care package to get repairs, so it's not a big deal. But lesson learned, just don't even try it with the trees, man. Just avoid the trees at all costs. But in spite of that, got some cool footage. I'm going to turn it into a little vlog-ish type highlight video from the day. But it was good. Zach and I had like 7 different beers that I picked out from Publix. We had a bunch of different IPAs, a bunch of different sours. So we played
Sounds
some
gross.
we played some cornhole.
cornhole.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it was awesome. What am I missing, Preston? What else happened yesterday?
We played football.
We did
A
play
little
football.
3-on-3. That was fun.
Yep.
I haven't played like a good game of front yard football in years.
Dude, that's exactly what
That's
I
what
said.
you missed out on, man.
I know.
That was a good time.
Yeah, there were a lot of dogs there too. I got to pet all the dogs,
Oh,
so it was a beautiful day in the land of the free. So, how was your 4th of July?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I spent a good portion of the day with a lady friend that I've been, chatting with this week.
You guys gonna get
That's-
married?
Yes. Yeah, it's
figured.
already happening. Like it's actually tomorrow. So
Cool. Am I invited?
no.
Why?
Preston was actually. I told him not to say anything, but
Dude,
I guess now the cat's out of the bag.
No, I'm kind of busy tomorrow, actually.
Oh.
Can I take his invite, dude?
I already gave it to somebody. Sorry.
Oh, dude. Whatever, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did a few things. We had like a little picnic at a park. We did some hiking. We at the end of the day we went over to my parents and my dad made some wings, his classic green egg smoked wings.
Mm.
And oh my goodness, dude. I wish I could have shared them with you guys because they were delicious. But I unfortunately ate all of them. So there won't be any sharing this week.
Aren't you the same freak that at one point we were like, man, we can't wait to have hamburgers and hot dogs on 4th of July? You were like, hamburgers and hot dogs on 4th of July? What's wrong with you?
No, well, it's because I grew up eating so much of both of those things. So they never excite me, even though that's like a classic.
That's
4th
what
of
we
July
had, dude.
meal.
And they were phenomenal. Zach's dad killed it.
Yeah. From what I remember, Zach's dad is quite the chef. He always
is.
makes really good food.
It was delicious.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were really good.
But at the end of the day, I took her back. She lives like in like the Roswell area, Roswell, Georgia.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend,
Not that
dude. She
that's
goes to a
important.
different school.
And then came back and I spent the rest of the night with my good buddies, Evan and Elliot.
Cool.
And Elliot brought his little puppy, Maya. So
I love that dog so much.
I love her so much too. She's the best. We were trying to get her in the pool last night. We were jumping in the pool and she wouldn't get in. She was like so terrified of the water.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I miss all of us hanging like we used to.
Yeah. We were actually talking about that. It was like, when was the last time that like everyone that we like went to high school with like was in this house at this pool?
Zach and I had that same conversation yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I know it's complicated because he lives so far away and he has a newborn son now, but
yeah, makes things a lot more complicated actually.
Yeah.
But it was a good night. Probably had too many drinks, but woke up early this morning, drove back, and then I fell asleep again until like 10:15 when my alarm went off, and I was like, all right, got to get up and do this podcast thing.
This dang
with
podcast.
These bozos. So here I am.
Well, it's great to see you, Jacob. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you had a great day with your gal and the boys, and I'm glad we could all come together and talk about the things we love. Speaking of which, what have you guys been playing this week?
Preston, I want to hear from you.
I finished The Last of Us Part 2. I think the same day we filmed our podcast last week. So yeah, finished that. I'm about halfway through on my second playthrough, picking up the remaining trophies. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably going to have that platinumed either today or tomorrow. Cool. So yeah, I have I didn't get Friday off for work for 4th of July, so I'm getting Monday off. So I might dedicate a portion of my Monday off to finishing up that trophy list. So I plan on that being done, but that's pretty much all I played, I think. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. But yeah, my overall thoughts on part 2, and I know me and Garrett are going to do a spoiler cast, changed as I was playing the game like quite frequently. Like I think in like a 10-point scale, which like I don't want to like rate this game like that, but like I feel like my score would have varied between like 7 and 10. Like it was very fluid as I was playing the game, and I think it's just because it's just a long game. A lot of stuff happens in the game. It's just really intense. Sometimes I just wasn't in the best mood to play a game like that, so my feelings changed a lot throughout the first playthrough. But I think overall at the end I loved it. Story really resonated with me. I really liked the ending. Definitely in terms of like games that make me feel something, this one probably made me feel the most out of any game that I've ever played. It's I kind of just sat there at the credits and just was like, wow, holy crap. Yeah, can't really say anything else besides that.
Yeah,
but
don't.
I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I think maybe one of my main criticisms is definitely I think it dragged on a little bit there towards the end. Yeah, that's probably my main complaint. But we'll get more into it during the spoiler cast. But yes, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am extremely interested in seeing what Naughty Dog is going to do next, especially with like next gen stuff. So like we're essentially going to be playing like a game that looks like real life, I think, with the PS5, based on this game. But yeah, that's all I played, I think. So
nice. Side note about Last of Us, our spoiler talk, and it's going to sound complicated, stick with me. The standalone review will be available on YouTube just by itself, but the spoiler review, I think I'm just going to plug into the tail end of this episode of the podcast for our Spotify and Apple and all that, just because we can't really upload a review and like break our consecutive cycle of like episodes. It'd be weird if it's like 200 plus episodes on our Spotify and then out of nowhere it's like Last of Us review that isn't a podcast episode. So this whole episode will be a normal podcast, and in the tail end, if you want to stay tuned, we'll just be plugged in the spoiler cast of Last of Us. But if you'd rather just stand alone, watch the review, or listen to the review, it'll be available by itself on YouTube. So that's coming. But yeah, we're excited to talk about it in depth. Finally, we're definitely late to the party, but it's something that we want to do, and we hope you guys join us for that. But I did not play Last of Us. Jacob, what did you play? Jacob's gone. Okay.
Dude, yeah, Jacob froze for a little bit, and he just had his hands up like this, like he was measuring something for like 30 seconds.
Oh man. Okay.
Hopefully he pops back in here soon.
Well, I didn't play any games, but I did unbox the SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Fun Edition for COG. It's THQ Cinema Collector's Edition, and I was grateful to both receive and unbox that. I should have brought the figures over here. It's the really, really impressive figures that come in the Collector's Edition. It's SpongeBob, Sandy, Patrick. Cool concept art. Pair of socks that were incredibly comfortable. It's SpongeBob socks that he wears. So cozy. So I have those. What else? A bunch of cool tiki keychains are in there. That's more or less the extent of what's in the collector's edition, but it was a fun unboxing, and I now have the game on PC. I've yet to play it, but I fully intend to, because I never played the original, and I love SpongeBob and I love platformers, so I'm all in for that.
Nice.
But that's all I did game related this week. So
yeah, I've thought about picking up that game, but I might get it, later on down the line. I have way too much stuff to dive into now. Especially like Persona 5 and with
Ghost right around the corner too.
Ghost right around. Yeah, exactly. But I don't have. I remember renting Battle for Bikini Bottom for like a trip or something back when I was a kid, but I don't have too much nostalgia for it. But definitely looks like just a fun game to just play around with and stuff. Is it on Switch? Should be on Switch, right?
I think I can't remember.
That'd be like a great game
Switch
for
game.
Switch. Yeah. So
definitely. I don't know, man. I really want to play SpongeBob at 144 FPS personally. So
yeah, dude. I'm sure it looks fantastic.
I'm also interested in dabbling in Destroy All Humans again, the remastered version.
Yeah, it is on Switch. I never played that game.
Dude, I loved it. Loved it. That was like my first introduction to a true open world game, and like the freedom just be an alien and attack humans. It was a lot of fun when I was a kid. So that was one of the first games too, in addition to Spider-Man 2, that utilized ragdoll physics back in the day. And that's what like really got me interested in like physics in video games, even beyond just like bodies and games, but just the environments and stuff has always been really interesting to me. But yeah, I loved the original. So
nice.
Never played the sequel.
I'll check out the kind of reception to it to see if they've implemented like any gameplay changes, like if it's more like modernized, or if because that's one of the complaints I've heard for Battle for Bikini Bottom is that it's it's a very faithful recreation, but it's still like that old game. So I don't know if just Destroy All Humans being a faithful, adaptation or just remake of the original game is enough to get me to really try it. That makes sense, because I don't want to like how do I say this? Like if it just plays just like a modern PS2 game, I don't know if I'm like really too psyched to hop into something like that.
That
so
completely.
I just wonder how well it like holds up today and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Cool. Jacob texted me. Let's see what he says. Trying to come back. I'm having internet issues. Dude, what a loser. Didn't you realize what year it is? You can't have internet issues in 2020. Man, what a joke. Well, I'd ask him what he's been playing, but he's not here, and I don't want to delay.
Dude, I'll do my best Jave impression. I've been grinding for like a hog I can ride in World of Warcraft, and I haven't got him yet, but I'm going to dedicate 97 more hours of my week to getting this virtual animal I can ride around on. That's what I've been doing. I
also played
week.
5 more minutes of The Last of Us Part 2. So that's why he's not joining us on the spoiler cast. But thank you, Jacob. We greatly appreciate you contributing to the What We're Playing segment of the podcast. Preston, you want to just go ahead and jump into this news?
Sure, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So Ubisoft unveiled a new Battle Royale called Hyper Scape, and I'm going to be honest, at first glance, I completely wrote it off. I'm like, wow, another generic Battle Royale that's in a futuristic setting. How original. But in further investigation, not only watching the very detailed trailer explaining the mechanics of the game and how it works, it's actually pretty interesting. Have you read into this, Preston? Or have you seen like the in-depth trailer?
No, I have been very I guess judgmental about it based on what you've said. I've just had no interest in it. So I don't know too much about it at all.
Cool. Well, not to backtrack too much, Jacob, very briefly, we're already in the news. Very briefly, we're going to see if our impression of you was accurate. What did you play this week?
What did you say?
Just tell us what you played,
I want to hear what
man.
you said.
No, just tell us what you played.
Well, do I have news for you? I played The Last of Us Part 2. Put a little more time into it. Still not anywhere near the end. I'm well past like halfway through the game. I've been playing as another character in the story. So, spoilers, you play as another character. Not that anyone doesn't already know that, but yeah, I'm enjoying this character. I was telling Preston before the podcast, I'm enjoying this character a lot more in terms of just gameplay and like what this person's kit offers. So it just makes the gameplay a little more exciting for me, which is nice. But without really, spoiling anything, I don't want to say too much more. Hopefully this week I'll knock it out. I'll get it done, but we'll see how much time I can put into it. And I also played a little bit of WoW. Is that what you guys said?
No. What'd you do in WoW?
I did some raiding. I think I got one mount this week. It was a. Did you predict right?
Oh yeah, dude, we nailed
Pretty
it.
much.
Yeah, I got this like little celestial dragon thing. It's cool. It has like little.
I guess you got like a hog.
A hog? Oh
Yeah.
No.
They already have like 6 of those.
No, I'm getting dragons, bro. I don't have time for hogs. But yeah, I don't really have anything too exciting to talk about in terms of gaming.
Nice.
But,
Cool, man. Glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you kick us off with Hyperscape, Jacob? Because I was telling Preston when I first saw this announcement, I was not even remotely interested, but actually giving it the time that it deserves, frankly, just watching the in-depth trailer where they explain the mechanics of the game, I'm actually interested in giving it a try. How do you feel about it? Because you've, out of all the people I know, you've played Battle Royales the most consistently, especially with Apex. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Sure. Well, did you go over any of the points that I put here in the notes?
Not yet. We before you came back, we were just beginning to talk about it.
Okay. Well, how about I go through these and then we'll sort of talk about it.
Cool.
So just like as a general, synopsis of what it is, it's a new Battle Royale game for up to 99 players, played in either 3-player squads or alone via solo queue. When the match starts, players fall to the ground in their customizable landing pods.
Keyword
the other
there.
players, what?
Keyword there, customizable landing pod.
Yeah, exciting. And I think you can actually reach any part of the map in those pods, which is cool because in most Battle Royales, you have to kind of time your landing depending where you want to land on the map. It's if you jump too early, you can't glide far enough. But it seems like these pods can just go anywhere they want, which is cool. Hyper, I keep wanting to say hyper space or hyper anything besides scrap. I don't like the name at all of this game, but it has only 4 gear slots, which are 2 weapons and 2 hacks. And the hacks are abilities which can do all sorts of things, from healing you to healing you and your squad, or turning you into a giant ball that can bounce around the area. There are no health packs or armor kits, no grenades or vehicles, which is interesting. If a player picks up a copy of something they already have, their gun or hack will get an upgrade. This is called fusing. For example, the sniper rifle starts out as a 2 headshot kill weapon, but when it's fully upgraded, the sniper can kill an enemy in a single headshot. Hacks fuse to reduce cooldown, allowing players to use them more frequently. death in Hyper Scape is also a bit more forgiving than your typical Battle Royale. When you die, you become a ghost who can then wander the world scouting out enemies so that you never have to put down your mouse or controller.
You basically become Peter Dinklage from Destiny at that point.
Basically, yeah. Basically. And that's like the general synopsis. I watched, just like you did, I watched the little intro video, the tutorial video that they posted. It looks fine. I don't know what it is, but this Battle Royale doesn't really excite me that much. And I can't tell it's just because of, I like the map design, and I like how you can sort of scale buildings and stuff like that. But I don't like, I guess, the weapons. They really don't excite me that much. The gameplay, to me, it seems like people have a lot of health, and it seems a lot more like, I don't know what the best thing to compare it to. I almost want to say Halo in the sense of when you shoot enemies, it takes several shots to
now if you hit him in the head, boy, it's that skill, that skill based shooter. Sure. Which that's kind of what draws me to it, is that I think someone I was skimming the comments because I haven't looked that into the game, but someone's like, this is probably one of the more skill based or most skill based battle royales yet. So that's something that appeals to me. I can relate to the weapon thing because, again, aesthetically, it reminds me very much of Apex. Oh, yeah. But I will say the arena is pretty cool because it's kind of like a futuristic Europe or something, or like Italy or something. And I like the scale of the buildings. I think it's pretty cool to be in a city setting with a double jump feature, especially traversing rooftops is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, you love your double jumps.
Oh yeah, I'm all about the double jump.
But yeah, I think other people have said this, but its movement is best compared to Apex, and just a sense of its speed, and it's how you can sort of just scale movement abilities to sort of just seamlessly weave through things, and you're jumping off buildings and jumping to other roofs, and you're always on the move, which is sort of how Apex is. But yeah, just like I said, overall, I don't I even got closed beta access, or I got access to this game and I haven't even downloaded it yet. I'm still just trying to watch streams and see if it's even something that I want to, put time into. Because at this point, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm sick of battle royales, because I don't really think I'm sick of them. But I almost just want to see something new.
That's called Hunt Showdown, my friend.
I got the game. I'm waiting for you to tell me when.
Dude, I would play it today if you wanted to.
Okay.
Literally anytime today, after our spoiler cast I will play with you.
Okay.
Because that's why I always say that's why I love that game. It's so different from every battle royale. It's not like a full on battle royale, but it has those elements. Anyway, side note. I read a comment too that someone was like, man, somewhere Cliffy B's punching the air because this looks like the battle royale version of Lawbreakers. That is so true. It does. On top of that, I think the battle events are really interesting. It's out of nowhere. There's zero gravity or low gravity. Bunch of different events that happen throughout the match keep it certainly interesting. So especially if they're different every match. Not to say they have an infinite amount of battle events, but each match you don't know which one you're going to get. It's kind of cool.
One thing that's really cool about this game is that it has direct interaction. If you're streaming the game, your chat can literally vote on things that can happen during the match, and then it's cool because people that are watching can also feel like they're contributing to the stream or your actual game, which is really cool. So you can the chat will vote on 3 options and say low gravity wins, and the match will just turn everyone everyone will just have low gravity. I think that's kind of cool. They're trying to find new ways to, sort of take streaming, and they're how can we make this more interactive than it already is? So I think it's cool, but maybe not enough to really get me excited about it. And again, I think it's just mainly it's like a gameplay thing for me.
I assume this is free to play.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it? I guess on their what does Ubisoft do to make their games available? Can you remember? Is it Uplay or something? Where do you download this? Can you download it on Steam?
Uplay, probably.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's different too, especially the death where you become a ghost, like you said, and you can meet your teammates somewhere to respawn, call out enemies. So you're never just totally out of the game.
Yeah. The weird thing about this game was that they tried to do the same sort of marketing strategy that I guess Apex did, and Valorant, and I might be missing one. But they're like just shadow dropping it, and they're hoping like people will just like, want to watch a lot of streams, because like I think it's like how Valorant was, where if you watch a stream, you have a chance to get access to the game. So they were hoping like they were going to copy Valorant's success and just get thousands and thousands of views on Twitch. But it doesn't really seem to be catching on as much as those other games did. So I don't know if it's like, are people just too smart to fall for that, or are people not interested in playing the game as much because people aren't watching? I don't know.
Is it only available on Uplay?
Yeah.
That's probably a big contributor, dude. If it was available on Steam, like, is Apex available on Steam, or is that only on EA?
I don't know.
As of now, it's not on Steam. It is coming to Steam.
Okay.
It's on Origin, I think, exclusively at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think so. I think in that EA Play presentation thing they did, they announced it was coming to Steam at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. It doesn't help either that Valorant is really popular right now, and it just, like, the full version just released, so that's probably contributing to it.
I don't even know if Valorant is that popular right now. Like, I haven't really been keeping up too much with it, but I mean, it definitely isn't, making headlines like it did. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people, like, I don't even know like what people are playing right now. Like, it seems like everyone's just sort of waiting for something really cool to come out, and like everyone's just playing a bunch of random stuff right now. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people jump back into WoW for just some reason, because they have nothing else to do. Like, these are like people that have been on my friends list for years, and they were always just playing like other games, other Blizzard games, and just suddenly they've come back to WoW. And I'm just like,
interesting.
Okay, because like there's nothing new in WoW right now. So like, are you just jumping in because you have nothing else to play? That's kind of what I feel. But yeah, I'm kind of just like besides all these single player games, like I've been waiting for a cool new multiplayer game to come out, and I don't know, but this one just doesn't do it for me.
So if Halo Infinite's awesome, we're going to see that later this month. There's rumors that a multiplayer beta will be available the day they announce it. Is a rumor right now. I think it'd be awesome. So it's one thing to wait this long to see it, but to get to play it immediately after announcing it and help refine that experience before it launches would be sick. And they've done betas for a long time, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But I look forward to that. Hopefully that's more than just another Halo game.
I mean, on Twitch right now, like League of Legends is at like 230,000, Fortnite at 190, Valorant's the third, I think, highest streamed game right now at 87,000. Call of Duty's right behind it.
Yeah, no, although a lot of people are still playing Warzone.
Or no, these aren't in order. Counter-Strike, of course, has 140. But yeah. Dude, Hunt Showdown's doing pretty good on Twitch. It's got 40,000 viewers. It's got more than Overwatch.
Overwatch. What a joke.
Dude, Hunt has just as many viewers as World of Warcraft does right now.
Wow.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I bet you it's like one or two guys that have a lot of viewers. Does that mean it's better game than WoW? If it's,
I don't know. Dude, Hunt Showdown has more viewers right now than Apex Legends does on Twitch.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Apex has really lost its momentum. Man.
How the tides have turned.
Mm-hmm. People are awakening to the true Battle Royale experience. The true exhilarating experience. It's unlike any other.
I think this is what a lot of people were afraid of, though. Like, we have so many different Battle Royales now, like all of them feel kind of just, like not as exciting because there's just so many options. I don't know if that's even that makes sense, but
I do want to try the 200 player mode in Warzone big time. Like, I mean, that really is a true Warzone with 200 people. Is it the same map or is it a different map?
I think it's the same map.
Goodness gracious, dude. That's insane. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that. Any other thoughts on just Battle Royale or Hyper Scape in general? I mean, it'd be a fun conversation one day to do a topic of like, let's design our own Battle Royale. Like, what would we like to truly play that kind of separates itself?
Yeah.
I'm open to having that discussion. You guys have any ideas?
That could potentially be a good talk.
So
it'd be something I would have to, actually brainstorm and write down.
We should do that for next week. If there's no like big news, we should all individually, without talking to each other, come up with our own ideas and maybe like combine and contrast and like eliminate ideas and try to craft the perfect battle royale.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Moving on PC, Horizon Zero Dawn is coming. We're very excited. The trailer was very hype. Stoked for this, and I'm hoping this is the first of many more PlayStation exclusives that make their way to PC. Mm-hmm. It looks as beautiful and as exciting and customizable as I was hoping it would be on PC, including, of course, ultra-wide display support, unlocked frame rate, dynamic foliage, deep graphics customization, improved reflections, expanded controller options, and they have a benchmark tool as well. Now, the one quote that I thought was funny, I was talking to Preston about this back in March, Herman Holst said, head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios, said that, I think it's important that we stay open to new ideas of how to introduce more people to PlayStation and and to show people maybe what they've been missing out on. And I'm like, because I don't know if he means that as in like, oh, people will play Horizon on PC and they'll be like, wow, I need to get a PS5 and play all the games on PS5 now. If anything, everyone's going to be like, put more of your games on PC, please. Yeah. So maybe I'm just reading that wrong, but I would highly doubt any dedicated player who plays primarily on PC would ever play this, for example, and be like, dang, I'm going to spend more of my time on console and play these PlayStation games.
Well, I think like he kind of means like he just wants people to like have that excitement created within them, where it wants like it inspires them to go out and play these PlayStation 5 games sooner. So they'll like go out and buy the new console, and then they'll be playing these games when they come out, as opposed to waiting till they may or may not ever come to PC.
Yeah, I mean, this game came out in 2017. It's been 3 years.
Was it 17 or was it 16?
I think it was 7. It was the year the Switch came out.
It was the same year as Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I think it was 17.
Yeah, that, and think of PlayStation more than just a console, because PlayStation very much is like a brand in a way. Like it's a PlayStation game on PC. It's still like involved with PlayStation, just not the console. So to separate PlayStation from just the console itself makes sense. So it'd be cool to be like on Steam, it's like PlayStation games available on PC, like Horizon, In a Perfect World, God of War, Spider-Man, Ratchet & Clank, Bloodborne, Uncharted, Last of Us. Maybe one day. But I'd love to see that model next gen, like PlayStation 5 exclusives, maybe even old PS4 games, 2 or 3 years after they've released on console, come to PC. Because for me as a player, I mean, of course, initially I'd love to play them on PC anyway, but like 3 years later, I'm almost always in the mood to re-experience a game I loved, which of course is many PlayStation exclusives. Hashtag not fanboys. But 2 or 3 years later, man, I'm all for playing a game again. And I mean, Preston and I have talked about this. We're definitely playing Horizon on PC.
Yeah, I've been having that itch to kind of jump back into that game. And when there were, rumors a few months ago about this coming to Steam, it made me want to play it even more. So I'm very, very excited to revisit this game. And like you said, it looks freaking gorgeous. I can't wait to play it with a higher frame rate, actually being able to. I just can't imagine like how much better the combat's going to be, being able to just like pick apart, the robots, better than ever now with mouse and keyboard. So
absolutely
super excited about that.
So you think you'll use mouse and keyboard?
Totally.
Yeah.
I imagine it'll feel pretty.
Why in the world wouldn't I?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Why would I use a controller?
Anytime that I play like a game like that, I would always use a controller.
Like a third-person game?
Yeah.
I think any game that involves like aiming like a weapon, like a projectile weapon,
you're right,
I can use a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Like Grand Theft Auto, for example, in third person, I'd use mouse and keyboard. I know that's a weird example, but Red Dead, when I played on PC for a bit, I used mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, maybe I would try it with mouse and keyboard.
Now Melee is
different.
different.
I didn't really think about it.
Like I only played like 5 seconds of Devil May Cry, but like Devil May Cry, Witcher, anything with like a melee weapon, I'll probably use a controller.
Yeah, I used a controller. Like I played the Jedi Fallen Order on PC, and I used a controller for that. Any like platformers, melee based games, third person, I use controller. Anything else, I use mouse and keyboard. So yeah, 100% mouse and keyboard.
You gonna play Horizon on PC, Jacob?
I think so. Yeah. What was the release date? I think I put it on here.
August 7th.
Yeah.
August 7th. Yeah, I think that's a good time.
I imagine we'll have played through the vast majority or beaten Tsushima by then.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Then we'll jump into another third-person open-world PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Also with a bow. But I'm very excited for that, Jacob. I asked Preston off stream, but we're all going to pick. If PlayStation was like, you can only have one more PS4 exclusive on PC for the rest of time, what would it be?
God of War.
That's what we said.
Yeah. That's the game I want to replay most.
Yeah, God of War. I mean,
can you imagine how good that game would look on PC?
Oh, totally.
Look insane.
Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man would be great, of course. Ratchet would be awesome, but if I had to pick one, it'd be God of War.
Mm. I mean, Ratchet and Clank would be great too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Especially mouse and keyboard. God bless.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love it. Amazon's Crucible is headed back to closed beta a month after release, which is hilarious because we very rudely crapped all over it. Granted, I know these developers have sure poured their hearts and souls into this game, but it was one of the most generic. What's the word I'm looking for? My brain's not fully functioning yet. This is a poor way of saying it, but it looks like it just was far too inspired by games that already exist. I can't remember what the derogatory, not derogatory. It's a D word. What's the word? Where you like drawing from something. I'm too tired to think of it right now.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
If I was writing, I could probably think of it, but it just looks like it's drawn from too many things that already exist. And it
just doesn't excite you. Like,
no, not in the slightest.
Yeah. No, I when I saw this headline earlier this week, I was like, oh my God. Like we were crapping all over this game, and then this happens. So that just means like everyone else must have also not really liked it that much. I
didn't hear one good. Even the people that did like their. You okay, Garrett?
Yeah, so I'm trying to turn off my. There it is.
All right. I think PC Gamer or somebody put like a review or early review out for it, and it got like a 4 or 5 out of 10 or something like that. So even like every outlet I saw cover this game didn't like it.
And this was another game where like they tried to partner with streamers and like try to make the game popular, and this game really didn't take off in that regard. Like even compared to Hyper Scape. Or Scape. Yeah. Is it Scrap or Scape? It's Scape, right?
I think so.
It might be Scrap.
I think
this is why I hate that name.
Hyper Scape sounds like it.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. That definitely sounds better. But yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for the
developers.
That it always sucks when you're trying to especially get something new going. I think they're like a new studio,
Yeah, it's an Amazon studio, Amazon owned.
Yeah, and you release something and it just gets no traction to the point where you just take it back.
Yeah.
So
like this is always the risk when you like release a game, like you're hoping that it's going to, really appeal to people, and if it doesn't, like you're kind of just screwed. Like
that's at least
essentially
one
lose
thing
your job.
For the most part, I know we're getting like an oversaturated market of battle royales and stuff, but at least they're like good.
Different.
Yeah, they're like good though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure Hyperscape is like a good game. Like Apex Legends was a really good game, but this one wasn't even good. So, of course, in this oversaturated free to play market and stuff, like you at least have to be like, good. Like, of course you have to be good, but like, of course, nobody's going to give you a shot whatsoever at this point now. So it's probably good that they took it back and kind of take it back to the drawing board, for a little bit.
Yeah. And like people that had already like,
I think that potentially might have been the most obvious thing I've ever said in my life. Like if you're listening to this and you feel insulted that I would have pointed something so obvious out, I apologize. We are It's Obvious Gaming, so I guess I am living up to the name.
There you go. But I think people that did actually like purchase things in the game. It is a free game, or it was, but now I don't even think you can get into it. But if you bought anything, like your progress is backtracking towards the closed alpha or beta, so you keep what you already bought, I guess, and then they're gonna relaunch the game. Like, I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
it says here that you do get your stuff.
I wish them luck in their second launch. Because I will say, when I was, I think the first time I even saw this game is through an ad, just on a article I was reading, and I watched it for a little bit. Like it looked fun from
That didn't
the
sound very
ad.
fun.
I mean, I was interested. I was like, "What is this?" Like, I don't know what this is. Like I didn't completely write it off the first time I saw it, so I think, like, at least aesthetically it looks like they have something going on, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope they can right the wrongs.
It reminds me a lot of what was that game called that Epic Games made? It was they like canceled it. It was a MOBA.
That MOBA, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looks a lot like that to me.
Man, what was that? I know exactly what you're talking about. They announced it at the at PSX.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Don't remember the name.
If someone knows what I'm talking about, leave a comment, please.
I guess I can look it up.
But yeah, for some reason it always reminded me of that. But it seems like it's a little more
starts with a P.
Team based. Especially what?
I think it starts with the P.
Paragon.
Yep.
There it is.
I can't even remember what that game looks like.
I mean, it's dead. So
definitely had a more realistic art style than Fortnite does, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think they canceled that game because they wanted to work more on Fortnite.
Dude, why would you even waste your time with Paragon? Like, I know it had a following, but like I think I listened to Kind of Funny a lot, and Andrea Renee when she was a part of it.
Yeah, she was literally going to talk about this.
She's like the only person I know that would actually talk about Paragon, and she was
she was upset when it was going away.
Yeah, so
like she was the only one I ever heard say.
Dude, that can suck though. Like a game that doesn't have that big of a community, but you have a group of people that you play it consistently with, and you invest time and money into it and stuff, and they're just like, you know what? This doesn't exist anymore because we have something way better. Like, that would definitely be a massive bummer.
What if that happened to Hunt, Garrett? Like, what if they just up and just stop developing for it?
I've thought about that. I mean, if they stop developing for it, I mean, the game still exists. You can still play it.
Well, maybe. I mean, they have to maintain servers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sucks about Paragon. It's not even like we're like, we're going to keep it up, but we're not going to add any new content. There's like, no, like, it just doesn't exist anymore. We're just taking it away. So sorry.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't really have any intentions on ever playing, what's this game called? Crucible?
Crucible, yeah. Dude, what a generic name, too. Yeah. Crucible. Just, man, as generic as you could possibly get.
Destiny 2's multiplayer is the Crucible. Right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's fine. That sounds like a game mode name, not a full name for a game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But like I said, I hope they, can make this thing good for sure.
Yeah, I agree. What's our next story here? Multiple publishers considering raising game prices on PS5 and Xbox Series X. And hold your horses, gentlemen. We actually have a community question that ties directly into this subject. And it's from our good old friend Bohongalis from the community. And he writes, as an effort to make sure my question is actually answered, I will now make it to the point and Christian Minecraft server friendly.
Much appreciated.
Having the ex-Sony exec come out and openly say AAA games are harder to fund as times go on, and the 2K21 coming out with pricing options showing a price hike for the next gen editions of the game, where do you think AAA should go in regards to how it handles development? Should AAA games focus on shorter dev cycles that make higher quality, shorter runtime experiences, or do you think that sorry, I lost my place here. Or do you think that we are due for a price hike to the $70 point? One problem people have with 2K is it's stuffed to the brim with disgusting microtransactions already. So this move is seen as purely greedy one. What do you think? I'm fine with both shorter AAA games that are more refined experiences that sit around 10, 20-hour runtimes, but also I'm okay with larger games having less in the realm of additional monetization and just making the price $70. since the price of games hasn't changed since the PS3 360 era, it may be possible that we are due for a change. Keep up the good work, fellas, and happy 4th. Shove a Roman candle up your rectum and go to town. Thank you, Kyle. But he covers most of the points that are brought up in this article. I did want to read one quote from the IDG president and CEO Yoshi Izaki. And I think that's the guy he was talking about, the former, where is it? He was the former vice president of Sony?
No, I think that's Sean Layden that made that statement.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong there. But his quote was, the last time that next-gen launch software pricing went up was in 2005 and 2006, when it went from $49.99 to $59.99 at the start of the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. During that time, the cost and prices in other affiliated verticals have gone up. And he also compares from cinema ticket prices, they rose like 39%, and Netflix subscriptions have gone up 100%, and cable TV packages have risen by 105%. All while video game prices have relatively stayed the same. So I guess the question relatively,
they have stayed the exact same.
Right, you're right. Well, I guess I was thinking of free to play options and stuff, because there are people release new models in terms of how you get access to games now. But generally, you're right. You either have a smaller game that's maybe $40, and then we have your AAA games, which are always $60. I guess my question to you guys is, do you think games could potentially go up to $70 this next generation, and are you okay with that?
I mean, I think it is happening. I'm surprised it didn't happen this generation.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of crazy that PS4 with inflation and everything, that PS4 games cost the exact same money as 360 and PS3 games. That's kind of crazy in itself. So surprised that was even a thing. So yeah, it does not surprise me whatsoever that the prices for the games are going up. Like you said, with inflation, games are just becoming more and more costly to make and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with it. I know for some people, $10 can mean more to other people, some people than other people. But
sure.
I think it's worth it. That if that's what they need to do to make better games, to fund them, stuff like that, I'm fine with that. I kind of think of it as all right, well, I just if I'm going to buy this game, I just won't eat out one more time this month or something, and that'll cover it right there. So I'm personally fine with it. And in terms of the other thing with Kyle's question, I personally like the just really refined 10 to 20 hour experiences, which is why The Last of Us is so insanely impressive to me, for that game to be as polished as it is and be that long. And I know they did work on it for 7 years, so it makes sense. But I'm 100% fine with having just a 10 to 20 hour experience that is really fleshed out. And of course, I also love the massive RPGs and stuff as well. So I mean, I'm purely these things are interesting to talk about for me, but for me, they're interesting to talk about, and I like hearing people give their opinions and stuff. But for me, I just am 100% fine with not really worrying about that, just kind of leaving it up to the developers for them to do what they want to do. And if the prices go up to even if the Witcher 3 or Witcher 4 costs $80 or $90, and hey, this game is so insane that we're putting all of this into it and stuff, and we feel like it needs to be $80 or $90 for this massive game with these hundreds of hours you're going to be able to play. I feel like that's justified, personally. I mean, of course that probably wouldn't go over well with some people, and I can see why, but I would understand why they would charge a little more money and stuff. I think it's kind of I've heard some people say oh yeah, let's charge more money, and have no seasons passes or anything. But at that point, it's almost like you're just already buying the seasons pass, you know? Like if you're paying $80 for a game, then
without
it's
even
like
opting into it. Yeah,
is that you're just automatically, you know, buying a $60 game with a $20 season pass.
I don't think we have a lot of season passes though anymore. To be fair, I feel like that model's kind of gone out the door. Like a lot of people just do free updates just to not compromise their player base.
Doom Eternal had a seasons pass.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying like they're definitely less frequent. Because like Call of Duty used to have one every year. Like every single player game came out with one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
For sure.
I definitely feel like they're on the downward trend.
I don't know.
But in terms of... Sorry, finish your point.
We're saying typically the games that have like seasons passes tend to be like more single player based RPGs are the ones that are kind of pushing those forward, and one of those hasn't come out in a while. And like you said, typically multiplayer games that used to rely on seasons passes, they've seen that the model for like battle passes and stuff is a lot more like effective right now, which is why they've turned away from that. But I do still think RPG stuff that, you know, single player games that will have a roadmap with DLC and stuff, I do think they will probably continue to have a seasons pass roadmap or whatever. But
yeah, I think the thing that I worry about most is like, I remember when I played, it was 2 games. It was Resident Evil 2 and also Devil May Cry 5. Like, imagine if both of those games are $70, like just hypothetically. And because those games are so short, like I feel like because we're up to like a $70 price point now, like I feel like people would be even more inclined to be upset over like a shorter experience. Like say you play a game, it's 10 hours long and you paid $70 for it. Like that kind of, it feels a little less good than paying just 60, obviously. Because like where do you, like, is it like you said, like should developers go in and like see how long their game is, and should they price it accordingly, or should everything just be one price? Because I feel like the higher this price gets, the more controversial that gets.
I mean, I think that's up to the consumer to like kind of look into, because I think Resident Evil 2, if I would have paid $70 for Resident Evil 2, I would have felt like I got my money's worth, because I played that game through like 4 or 5 times and thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, if I would have paid $70 for Resident Evil 3 remake, I would have been, I was very disappointed with paying, I think I paid $50 for Resident Evil 3. Because I got a deal on it, and I was, a little I enjoyed 3 remake, but it was a very short game that I didn't have much of, a desire to replay that one. So I definitely probably would have felt a little disappointing if I would have spent $70 on that. Yeah.
I guess it's weird, right? Because like
I said, I do think it comes down to like, I know Resident Evil 3 cost money to make, obviously, and with the game prices not having changed, I just think that it's just games like that, it's going to be inevitable for them to just be $70 just because.
And then like I worry they're going to start tacking on other things. Like, are they going to start doing those stupid multiplayer modes in those single player games again, just to make the price seem more appealing to people? So like, you're only getting this like 8-10 hour campaign, but here's this whole multiplayer mode that no one wants to play. Here you go. Like, are we going back to that?
Like Resident Evil 3?
Yeah. Like any number of multiplayer modes, like the Tomb Raider multiplayer.
I don't know.
I think like that.
I think that's rarer than it used to be. That used to be like a big issue that was with like every single game just tacking on multiplayer mode just to keep people playing it. But I think that's less of an issue now.
And then they start putting trophies behind it, and then you have to play, the online to get the trophies, and then you're never getting platinums anymore because no one wants to do that.
But one of the other things that I do kind of not like at all is the whole debacle with the 2K, with the only way for your game to be able to go between console generations is if you get like the Legendary Edition or whatever. Like if you just buy the $60 PS4 version, you have to rebuy the $70 PS5 edition.
Yeah, that's such a dumb
I think that is
decision.
so bad. That's really bad, and I think they're getting a lot of crap for it.
It just sounds tone deaf because like you have everyone else coming out and saying they're going to give you a free upgrade, and they're like only ones that are saying the opposite.
I know EA even walked it back. They're like, yes, our game will be upgradable until the next one comes out. I still think that's stupid. Like, we should be to the point where with how these consoles are that like these games should just work, work on both. Like I understand obviously if a PS5 game isn't going to be able to run on a PS4, like duh. But I mean, if I buy Madden for PS4, it should work on PS5. It should be able to be upgraded to that version for free. Like that just seems like a no brainer to me.
Yeah, and obviously there's like so many decisions that go into making a choice like that. Right?
Worst case scenario, have a like timeline, like I guess Madden's doing, but just be like 2K, like no, dude, screw you, spend another $70 just to play this on PS5. Like that's ridiculous. That's stupid.
Or I could just not play it. How about that?
I mean, I'm not playing it anyway, so I
you show him, Jacob.
It's my right as a consumer.
But I definitely think they are getting an earful online. So like EA, hopefully they'll see this and kind of redact that. So
can only hope. Not that I had any intentions on playing, what was it, 2K? So,
yeah.
I definitely like, it sucks for people that are getting the new consoles and, they're going to pick this game up when it comes out this fall. And, like they're like, crap, I don't want to spend, what is it, $100 or whatever for the Legendary Edition. Like that just feels crappy.
I have seen that comment a lot though. People saying like, oh, I'm getting the Legendary Edition anyway, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
more power to you, man.
Yeah. If I were playing 2K, I would get the Legendary Edition with Kobe on the cover and stuff. So,
yeah. Is there like a cool like statue or anything?
No.
That would be a cool collector's edition. Like a nice statue of Kobe. How you doing, Garrett?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you guys pretty much covered anything I would have contributed to that conversation. So just I lied. Like it is surprising how long it's taken for gaming prices to increase, but not surprised by it. So yeah, it's all good.
All right, so I'll cover this next story here. It's a little more in my sphere for sure. So a big thing happened this week. A streamer, a popular one of the first streamers just in general in terms of like the Twitch space and all this stuff. But this guy named Reckful, he suffered from I don't know the proper medical term, but is it like chronic depression? Some form of depression, but he committed suicide this week. So that was like a big thing in like the WoW community, which is I'm always keeping up to date with these sort of things. And he was like one of those pioneers of the streaming space where he always got a lot of views when the platform was really in its infancy. And he was just he was one of those first guys that really were successful on the platform. But I pulled this IGN article here, and I just wanted to bring up a few bullet points about what happened and how much support has been like people have been reaching out and to his family and just his brother, because like he had two siblings. One of them killed himself already, and then Reckful killed himself. So now he has this other brother that has two brothers that killed himself. Like so I'm like putting myself in that guy's shoes, and I'm like, dude. Like I can't imagine having two younger brothers that did that. Like it's just a really crappy feeling. But I wanted to bring this up because in World of Warcraft itself, sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today. That like there's these like in the main city, in the human main city of Stormwind, there's this big cathedral district. And like everyone was taking their models into the church, and everyone was just like lining the halls and like just being a part of like this moment of everyone, remembering this really, popular player in the game. And it was just a really cool thing to see. And I actually posted an image here on the notes here if you guys want to pull it up.
I did see that.
Second link. There's just a lot of people in one place.
I've never seen that.
And that's just one server. Like every server had this sort of thing going on.
That's cool.
But yeah, Reckful was 31. He died by suicide earlier this week. Players from around the world across multiple WoW and WoW Classic servers gathered in Azeroth Stormwind's Cathedral to kneel and celebrate Reckful's life. The World of Warcraft team paid tribute to Bernstein on Twitter. Bernstein was his last name. Calling him one of the most memorable WoW players of all time. Twitch issued its own statement noting Reckful's pioneering impact on the platform. Byron was someone who talked about his struggles to make room for others to do the same. The statement reads, as we process this loss, we have to recognize that the stigma around mental health and treatment often prevents people from seeking and getting help they need. Which I feel like is true a lot of times. Like, I know for me, like, I don't want to sit here and say, like, I'm, like, depressed or, I suffer from depression, because I don't think I do. But, everyone gets sad and they've, they have, like, dark thoughts and, they just beat themselves up over things. I could never imagine feeling that kind of pain and, wanting to, just not deal with anything anymore. It's sort of a scary feeling if you really just sit down and think about it. But, I just wanted to, bring this up because it's, it's important to me, just, because it's about WoW, and this guy was a big deal for a lot of people. So, it's shitty thing that happened, but, everyone's going to remember him, and it's obvious that he was an important part of the community. So,
for sure. Yeah. Reminds me of Etika.
Etika. Yeah.
As well. Yeah. That one still really upsets me.
Yeah. And like this whole thing like spurred a like conversation of like, because a lot of people think he received a lot of online harassment. Yeah. Like Etika too, even like him and Reckful. Like people were just sending so many like mean comments, and like people always like made fun of Reckful for some reason. Like they would make fun of him having depression, like to mess with him, because that's just what people do online. They're crappy. And then like this whole Reddit of, it's called Livestream Fails, was like under ridicule because like apparently he would always go on this Reddit and people would always be, writing threads about him, and people would just be, commenting crappy things about it. So like that whole Reddit page has been under fire this week. So, and it's like created this whole conversation of like, we should be treating people better online and that sort of stuff.
I mean, it's like, it's easy for people to say like, oh, it's, the whole cyberbullying thing. Like, I think Tyler, the creator, had like a tweet that people pass around where it's like how is cyberbullying a thing? Like, just turn your computer off, dude. Yeah. And it's like it's funny and stuff, but I mean it's clear with Etika and this guy now, like it can really get to you, and like with what Laura Bailey is going through right now, where people are like, just because she is the little actor for a fictional character,
something she did not write.
Exactly. Like she's an actor, and people are like sending her death threats and stuff. It's just so like stupid. It's just the internet is a vile place.
Yeah, and it's vile because you can be, right? Like there's no consequence at all.
It's just, and I would assume that like, Laura Bailey's getting a bunch of support online and stuff, but it's like, I mean, with Etika and this guy, like it can really affect you to the point where you feel like you can't live on anymore, and it's just it's sad, man.
And like really anytime like this doesn't happen to us very often, but like, sometimes we'll get like a negative comment on YouTube or something, and like even just that, like that one comment, like just reading that, like it sticks out to you, because like I don't know, like humans are just so like, we always focus on the bad things, like they always just appeal to us more, or not appeal, but they just stick out more. Like you focus more on your imperfections than things that you're good at, or things that went well. It's just easy to put too much focus on something like that, and then people that suffer from like like they always feel like they're sad, like they don't know how to like deal with all this negative emotion and drama, and it's literally killing people now, just what people are saying on your computer screen. So it's just like I don't know the answer.
I just think it shows. I think it shows more that if you have creators or like content creators and stuff, I think it should want to encourage you to be more, or encouraging to them, to let them know that if they have impacted your life in a positive way, to let them know that, to just like shower them with, like positive, comments and compliments and stuff, just to let them know.
That's a good point.
Because
a lot of people they do feel that, but they just never let people know because it's just a given. Like you watch it and you don't say anything because you enjoyed it. And
I mean, I for the most part, I don't do that. Like if I I've enjoyed Etika's content. I wasn't a big Etika fan. Like anytime something like exciting would happen, like a Smash Bros reveal, he would be the first person I'd look for, just because his reactions were so crazy and stuff. But I don't know, maybe if other people like me did reach out to him and tell him that like hey man, like I enjoy your reactions, I think you're like a really entertaining guy, then
it's like no one has an obligation to do that, obviously, right? But like every once in a while, like it's nice to just say something, even if they're probably not going to read it, right? Like especially if they're someone really popular. It's something to think about, I think, for everyone. Like don't be a crappy person for no reason. Like is this thing that you consumed really that, does it affect you that much, like that you need to lash out against something? Like if something really upset you enough to just forget about it, just block it out of your mind.
We're just at an age of like
everyone wants to have their opinion,
or just it's like I think very like pertinent to this discussion is Moist Critical put out a video called like I think it's called like Video Game Praise, and he kind of talks about the Lord Bailey situation, where it's just like we're at the age of like if you like something, then I hate you as a person. Like if we don't, we can't agree to disagree anymore. We can't. We're just so uncivil. We like form alliances with things we hate and things we don't like, and it just like breeds just like this insane toxicity online to the point where people are lashing out at content creators and stuff. It's just a mess.
This almost sounds like politics. Like this is all politics is. I was actually talking to Elliot and Evan last night, and I brought this point up. Like it feels like politics aren't actual conversations, right? They're just two people yelling at each other, right? Like you got two people who don't care about what you have to say. They just want to say their point loud enough to convince enough people, right? Because like in a genuine conversation, one person says something, then the other person, they repeat, like you either repeat what they're saying, or that you contribute to what they're saying, and the conversation develops from there. But in politics, you just got two people yelling two different sides of a point to convince people watching, because you're not going to convince who you're arguing with. Like when Donald Trump and Joe Biden debate this fall, it's just going to be two old men yelling at each other. That's all it's going to be. And people are supposed to sit back and like, obviously I don't want to like open this up to politics because that's not what this show is. But
dude, Kanye West is going to be up there. You're forgetting that.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm hoping that happens, man. I'm hoping that happens.
I really hope that happens.
God, dude. Please, no. But
let's not get off the tracks too much here. But.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys read this next story? I don't know too much about it.
An Amazon TV show is in development for Amazon. Jonathan Nolan's attached. Someone else from Westworld.
Or, you mean Fallout?
What did I say?
You said Amazon. An Amazon TV series is being
Fallout TV series
Amazon.
coming to Amazon. Yes, sir. I was lost in deep thought on that last subject. That was a very quick transition.
Yep, sorry.
TV show's coming.
So, did you have something to say about the last subject? I didn't want to like cut you off.
Relatively, but it's fine.
I apologize.
It's all good. So Fallout TV show's coming. Hope it's good. What do you guys have to say about it?
I mean, I'm a huge Fallout fan. I know you are too, Garrett. But
yeah, Preston, I think I saw you post this in the Discord, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
that would probably be something Preston's into.
I was very excited. I have seen a lot. Some people have some like reservations about just being just another post-apocalyptic TV show, but I do think the Fallout universe separates itself enough with its dark humor, its like 50s sci-fi aesthetics, just the whole lore behind vaults and stuff. Yeah. I think I
would love the idea of like the different, like, you got the Brotherhood, you got all these different factions that could potentially have really cool conflicts and storylines.
Yeah, I think like maybe different seasons set inside different vaults, and how the vault tech used these vaults to perform experiments on people. Like I think that could get extremely interesting. Yeah. With the show. I think there could be like a ton of like cool Easter eggs. Like there's just so many wacky weapons and stuff. Like maybe people in the show using like a fat man and stuff like that. Like I think this has potential to be really freaking awesome. So
I hope it takes place. I'm sure it'll take place in multiple locations if they take that route. But I hope initially it starts somewhere we haven't seen before in the Fallout world.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And
sure.
Todd Howard is the executive producer here. So
there
that's
we
good
go.
news, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope he
Fallout
comes
TV
out
show.
in a leather jacket and talks to us about it.
That's what's interesting about this is that there are so many different creative routes they could take. It could be serialized. It could be an ongoing story. Like you mentioned, it could be each season's a different vault dweller. What's the overarching goal in this world? Because obviously in both Fallout, the ones we've played actively, 3 and 4, there's a main narrative and like objective you're following throughout the story in spite of the open world aspect. So how would they approach that in Fallout? Would there be like a singular main objective that's driving the season? Because it could still be just as entertaining if it was serialized. Like every episode's like a different character in the Fallout world.
Yeah, I think that might be too much. That's too much going on for me. But like if they did like every season there was a new vault and a new vault dweller.
Yeah, you
could
like go
a new
on
part
and
of the country.
on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
Especially if it's like a strong 8 to 10 episodes, like really strong storytelling and like that amount of episodes.
I think just the premise of like, of course I've not played Fallout 1 or 2, so I can't speak to those. But even just like one season almost being like the story of Fallout 3, where your dad escapes the vaults and you have to go find him. I think that would be interesting for the show. Fallout New Vegas, you're a courier, who gets shot in the head at the beginning of the game, and you have to go to New Vegas to find Benny. And that whole story unfolds with Mr. House, I believe. And Fallout 4 story with trying to find your son Sean. Like I think though, like stories like that could be condensed in seasons and be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I could also really see myself enjoying just one. Like, give me one main character and have him travel the country for some objective. Like either way, I think it could really work. But
yeah,
I think I like the idea of more of different vaults and different stories being told.
I think there's just so many places they could touch on that I think that would like be better for a show like this to explore, like a lot of them and not just like be focused on one story.
For sure.
So I don't know, maybe it might be cool to see a show from a non-vault dweller's perspective, like maybe somebody that lives in like at a megaton or something like that, and then like a vault dweller comes into town and you're like seeing it from that perspective. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's like an endless amount of possibilities for this. I think that's what has me so excited to see what they can do with it.
Or even like people that just live on the surface, like finding a way to access a vault and becoming vault dwellers, like just like opening up this vault and exploring its riches or just taking all the stuff within, could be potentially cool.
For sure.
Or we could
I could just see that being a fun episode too, of just whoever the main character is, they find out they need to find like an artifact or some piece of information or a certain somebody that they believe is in a particular vault, and they seek this vault and explore it and kind of have like a fun like vault dwelling episode where you go through and whatever they decide to creatively do within it could be fun.
Yeah. That's what's so cool about the vaults is like they're all
endless
different
possibilities.
Yeah, like there's like there's always something weird going on with them. So.
Yeah, actually makes perfect sense for a show, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Hopefully they can execute it correctly,
and hopefully they can do it even remotely in the future, considering the season we're in. So it'll probably be a while, but there's a ton of potential for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, man, wasn't The Witcher like next season supposed to be out this year? And now it's like going to be delayed. Like everything's delayed.
I don't even think they're going to start until like August or something filming it.
It's a big bummer.
For sure.
Yeah. Can't really be helped in this season of our lives right now.
Yeah.
But I think all we got left, boys, is our community questions. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Here, I'm going to read the intro. I've never done this before. AskIOG is the part of the show where we answer your questions submitted through any of our socials at ItsObviousGaming and the AskIOG section of our Discord channel, or email at ItsObviousGaming. Wait, I completely butchered this.
Yeah, this is why you don't read it.
Exactly. Or email at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. Our first question comes to us from Comatose on Discord, and he asks, I thought of this.
Hey, hold up. We promised Sam we'd do his question or his script first.
Okay, I was going to save it for last, but we can do it first if you want.
Your call. You're the one who said it.
Let's do it first. Let's.
Okay. Well, everyone pull this bad boy up then, I guess. And thankfully, he has given us a short recap of what happened last time. I always appreciate that.
Excellent.
But I think, Preston, you might want to be the narrator, because I don't think you were speaking in this one. I think you're still missing. I think you're still captured.
I have no
I don't know. It's been so long. And I actually only have a few lines here, so maybe I'll also speak as Lark. I'm kind of confused as to. So I think he asked if other people wanted to be in the story. And they
I'll
just
be the
wrote them
narrator.
in.
I'll be the narrator then.
Okay.
Previously on IOG Masters, the duo of Drake and the Elvis Rogue and Alka the Orcish Monk shook down Mafugal the Gnome Sorcerer for information about Bojang and the Bojang the Waifu Mancer, who had captured their companion Pew the Dragonborn Wizard.
There you are, dude.
Yeah, there I am. Hang on, who had captured their companion Pew the Dragonborn Wizard? Okay. I'm going to get more on track now. They learned the location of the tavern where Bojang had posted the quest to apprehend Pew, the Tacky Bell. With a direction in mind, the brave masters started a long and arduous journey. As the pair exited the Winry Cave within the Grey Winter Mountains, the howling Zephyrs picked up and began blasting the rock faces and few trees with a blanket of frostwhite. So the way to the Tacky Bell would be long and filled with all sorts of peril, but to the IOG Masters, this would be a trivial challenge. After a few hours, Drake and Alka were halfway down the mountainside when Drake stopped dead in his tracks and knelt down, signaling to Alka to stop as well.
We've got a friend with us. I think he can come out now, Larrick.
Out from one of the outcroppings on the mountainside emerged a tall, hooded figure. It was dressed in black, studded leather armor and was armed to the teeth with daggers and small pouches, no doubt containing several rogues' tools. The figure pulled back its hood to reveal a startling sight. A humanoid face with symmetrical grooves all over it. The eyes were square and had dull golden irises and larger than normal pupils, if they could even be called pupils. Around the jawline were small slits that produced tiny puffs of steam. The figure then spoke.
Drake, it fills me with emotion you call elation to see you again and that you remembered me. My task to locate you was quite difficult, and I knew I was on the correct vector when I saw your handiwork in the cave. You have not lost, as you say, your edge.
Enough pleasantries, Larrick. What do you want?
How inefficient of me to not start with my request. I am in need of your assistance. The Orlando Thieves Guild has been at odds with a certain necromancer named...
Bojang, right?
Oh, you have encountered this individual.
Oh.
Well, then, it seems we have a mutual interest. Would you care to accept an alliance with my guild in order to take him down? Drake, who in the name of... what is this?
Bogtrue.
Who in the name of Bogtrue is this, and what exactly are you?
Alka, this is an old acquaintance of mine back when I was in the Atlanta Thieves Guild. We would help the Orlando Guild from time to time, and Larrick would be partnered up with me quite a lot. So, Larrick, does this mean I have to join Orlando?
That is not necessary, Drake. You would be considered an outside contractor and would be compensated for your assistance. If you choose to accept the offer, meet me at the Southern Royal Guard outpost in Greenwich City in 7 days. That is where my guild plans to devise a strategy to take down that accused that accursed necromancer. If I do not see you there, it was a pleasure to see you today. Goodbye.
In a blast of black smoke, the strange rogue disappeared, leaving nary a trace that he was ever there.
You've got some weirdo friends, Drake. So, should we take him up on his offer?
I don't trust a lot of people, but Larrick is the most trustworthy rogue I've ever known. Which is saying something, because you can never trust a rogue. I have a gut feeling that he was being truthful. Plus, having the resources of a guild would be very favorable. The outpost he spoke of is a few days away, and it happens to be near the Tacky Bell, so I would say kill two birds with one stone.
I'm not too fond of hunting birds, but I'd say we do it. I can't wait to smash that Weasley necromancer.
Cool, man. Me too, my friend, me too.
The IOG Masters have acquired the aid of an entire guild. Will that be enough to save their friend? Find out next week on IOG Masters, The Search for Pew.
Man, your reveal better be exhilarating when we find you. You've been gone for so long.
Dude, I've just been hanging out. Y'all are making a big deal.
Man.
Y'all are making a big deal out of nothing. Yeah.
Just been hanging at the Tacky Bell this whole time.
I think he actually has a question here at the end too. He says, "I hope we enjoyed the chat, or he hopes that we enjoy the chapter." Here's a question for you: what makes a story in any media good? Character development, world building, plot twists. In your opinion, what makes a story engaging for you? Have a spectacular week. And I assume he's going to take our feedback and then it's going to influence his own story. I imagine that's what he's getting at here. But what makes a good story for you guys?
I would prefer all three of those things, but I think personally, I really like fleshed out characters.
Yeah, story really does come down to the characters.
Yeah, and I even like go back to like The Last of Us 1 doesn't really have like that insane of a story. It's just like Joel and Ellie's relationship, meeting Henry and Sam and stuff, like just the characters just really sell that world and make you actually give a crap about what's going on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think for me, world building is really important too, to go right along with characters, because I can only care about characters if they're in a situation that is, that where the environment around them allows the characters to thrive. And
I think
shine.
a prime example of that is Harry Potter, for sure. Like, you think about the characters in Harry Potter, none of them are necessarily all that like super interesting. Like, they're all pretty simple characters for the most part, but the world around them is remarkably interesting. Is what
I think that's even more so the case in like Lord of the Rings, because you're like going to all these just hugely vast areas where they're just like different kinds of people, different kingdoms, and just different mini plots that are going on in Middle Earth all at the same time, and these adventurers are just traveling to all these points, and so it always keeps things fresh in terms of like the storytelling. I think that sort of thing really helps characters become appealing to a viewer.
Yeah, in regard to story, like, yeah, it really does for me come down to characters. I mean, this is a very traditional statement in any medium of storytelling, but it's often said simple plot or complex characters, simple plot. And like Preston said, I mean, a very clear example, Last of Us is a very simple plot, but it has complex characters. Mm-hmm. That's very much the case for the sequel in a lot of ways too. I mean, it's structured in a way that's pretty complex, but when you break down the narrative of the game, it's a pretty simple story with complex characters. So it makes it pretty interesting, at least for me. And many stories that, whether it's books, movies, TV shows, video games, that's often the case. But there are the exceptions for me, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, to an extent, Star Wars. I mean, there aren't even too many complex characters in Star Wars, but Star Wars is just a wide galaxy of amazing things. So, yeah, it depends on what it is for me. But that's what's complicated. It's like, do I love the story of Harry Potter, or do I just like the world of Harry Potter,
Yeah.
So
that's a good point, yeah. I was going to say something. You got any thoughts, Preston?
Nah.
Besides,
I already kind of gave my thoughts.
Okay. Well, let's move on then, boys.
Yeah, fun script and great question, Sam. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
What's our next one here? Okay, back to Comatose. He asks, I thought of this while listening to your Cyberpunk discussion this past week, but do you guys think Cyberpunk will create more demand for the next gen consoles at launch, since the game is coming in November. I am sure plenty of people will be buying it for their PS4 or Xbox One, but I also imagine a lot of people will want to play this gargantuan game on the newest and greatest technology in the Xbox Series X and PS5. I feel like the next gen consoles are going to be very hard to find for a few months and after launch because of games like Cyberpunk. I'm sorry. Love you guys. Love you guys' content as always. I know we've talked a lot about this, but what do you guys think? Do you think are people going to be buying these new consoles just to play this game? Like, do you think it's going to be one of those deals?
I don't know, man. This is something that I've kind of gone back and forth about. Just the way that all the situations going on right now in the world, I think kind of complicates things like that because I definitely don't think people have as much money to kind of throw around as they normally would. With a lot of people being laid off, I know that more people are filing for like unemployment and stuff. So I know that's like a problem going on right now. So I just don't know how much of a massive demand is going to be for these new consoles, especially when people are speculating them to be like $500 to $600.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. We don't even know. Especially if you have for like a normal person, like I have a PS4, or I can even spend like $200 $250 to get a PS4, like, or an Xbox One S, or like I've seen deals where like you can get an Xbox One X for like $300 or something like that, and play Cyberpunk on that, and then like kind of wait until later to get these next gen consoles, because I still do think they're going to be relatively hard to find, because I do think enough people are still going to want to get these, and I know they aren't making as many just because of everything going on as well. So yeah, I think I think that's when my final thoughts on that are, I don't really know. I'm interested to see though.
I think a lot of it for me, like if I was going to be playing this game on console, I would want to see how it runs on the older ones first before I would like just buy the new console just to play this game. Because
that's the good thing with Cyberpunk, is they've already said that it's gonna, you're gonna be able to upgrade it for free. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, but yeah, that would be a big thing, because I have heard. I think we like talked about this last week, but there have been like rumors that it's not performing too well on the older consoles. So we'll see how that. I mean, I'm sure they're going to, somewhere along the line, we're going to see how it runs. Like, we have to. They always do like those videos of like, this is how it runs on PS5, PS4, and they're going to show all the different versions. So maybe people can make a more informed decision then. But even then, like, I'm sure the pre-order for consoles is going to be like sold out at that point. So I don't really know. I would just recommend everyone get a PC and not worry about all this garbo, just get the machine that you need to get.
Dude, what am I gonna play Miles Morales on if I just have a PC?
You can watch a YouTube video.
I'll just watch a streamer, dude. I'm gonna watch a streamer and then form my opinion based on theirs about a game. Is what I'm gonna do.
That, yeah. All right. Thank you for your question, Comatose. That was a dandy one. And next we got Baked Jake 23 on Discord. And he asked, "Greetings all. I remember Preston playing Days Gone a while back, but he hadn't finished it. I'd like to know what you all thought of it. Obviously, critics had a problem with it, but the people still are saying it's really good. Stay safe out there, boys. Peace."
I have not finished it. I did like it. Actually quite a bit. It definitely had some issues, some technical issues when I picked it up that I'm sure are probably ironed out now. But I did see in the AskIOG tab, I think Big Colt said something that it had better combat than Last of Us Part 2, which I could not disagree with more. I think that the aiming in Days Gone is really bad. In my opinion, it's something that like I have to play with for like an hour to even get accustomed to. So I think this is one of the like prime candidates for a game that would just be freaking amazing on PC, just purely for just like the the shooting mechanics of it, because they just feel not tight at all. Granted, maybe it's fixed now with some patches and stuff, but that was one of my biggest complaints with the game was the floatiness of it. But everything else, like I liked. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Deacon. I thought his story was interesting, and I am interested to see where it goes. So at some point, whether it be me watching like the cutscenes or if it does eventually get released on PC, I would like to kind of see where the story goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the game. Well, it's one of the few exclusives, the Sony exclusives that I never got to. So if it came to PC, I would probably play it, honestly.
Yeah, I think that would be I know it sold better than people thought it was. It sold better than you would think it had sold because nobody really talks about it. But I do think that would be an excellent game for Sony to consider putting on PC.
Yeah, I know it got like average reviews when it came out, and it really didn't. Like, because people say like an average review was like a 7, but really that's pretty good, right? Yeah, so like I feel like it received a lot of criticism.
It's just when you have Sony's catalog of games, and it was like Uncharted 4, then God of War, and then Horizon, and then like Days Gone, Spider-Man, and then Days Gone, and of course it's not as good as any of those games, but it's still good. I mean, you have when you slap a like Sony Interactive Entertainment like splash screen on a game, you're expecting this to like blow your head off. Which I guess now PlayStation Studio logo now. And it didn't quite do that. Still a good game, but yeah, I hope to finish it one day.
Garrett, did you ever finish Days Gone? I know you played it.
I never played it.
I thought you did.
Did not.
Oh.
So I would also play it if it came to PC. I'm not opposed to playing it on PlayStation 4, but I'm not really up for buying it now with all the stuff that we currently have to play and stuff that's coming in the very near future.
Yeah, we got Tsushima coming in a couple weeks. So
yeah, Tsushima. I got to play Persona after that. I want to dabble in SpongeBob. I want to dabble in Destroy All Humans, Cyberpunk at the end of the year. So,
oh yeah,
nice.
Plenty to play.
Next question is from Mason Martin on Facebook, and he asks us, with everything that's going on in the world, I think it's a particularly weird time to be in your 20s, like I am, like you guys are. Nobody really tells you what part of life, or what this part of life is, and how to navigate it. So in the spirit of thinking about existential things, God, I cannot read today, I'm so sorry. What would be your guys' biggest piece of advice for navigating your 20s? Just thought it would be an interesting thing to hear you guys talk about. Enjoy your 4th and stay well. What's like one piece of advice you would give people for navigating through your 20s? I think mine would be to, like, it's actually one of my biggest regrets is not trying more things. Because I feel like people sort of like get stuck in this, what's the best word for it? Like they go through the motions of, you know, like you go to school and then, you know, you get into a job you like or you don't like, and then you just sort of like start, you know, fitting yourself in this little groove where you always do the same things, and you know, perhaps you're happy and that you know you get a lot of fulfillment out of that. But I think other people should like take time to maybe travel more and, you know, try other things that maybe don't necessarily interest you, but that you think you might like, and you know, maybe that inspires some sort of passion within you, and you end up doing things, or you like things that you never thought you would otherwise. And this can just stem to anything. Like you try a new food that you like, and you know, you end up liking something that you never even knew you didn't know about, right? So it's just, I think people should be more willing to try new things. Is I guess my advice. I guess. Yeah. What about you guys? Any advice for Mason here?
Take it, Garrett.
Pretty much what you said, Jacob. I would say say yes to as many opportunities as you can, whether it's work related or experience related or going to do something.
Because this is like the time to do it, right? Because you're not going to be this free the rest of your life until you're retired.
So I very rarely, even if I think going into something that I'm not going to enjoy, whatever it is, especially if it's like a social setting. I almost always am hesitant because I'm pretty introverted myself. I mean, I can carry on a conversation with anyone, but I don't love social settings like repeatedly, like back to back to back. But I've never ever regretted like engaging in an opportunity that even I feel hesitant in to begin with. I mean, it's almost always worth it for me to go through with it. So yeah, I'd say, like you said, just experience all you can. Say yes more than you say no. Don't always be a yes man, but I would say be open to any and all adventurous opportunities, as minute as they may seem. For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have much else to add because I'm 27 and I still feel like, we're all going to continue to learn and grow
Sure.
throughout the remainder of our lives. So there's not much I can say. I'd imagine someone in like their 30s or 40s might be able to answer that better, but we're still in the midst of our 20s right now. So it's not, I'm not really sure. I think when I reflect on it in about a decade, I might have more to say.
Yeah, I really like y'all's 2 points. I feel like I'm in no position whatsoever to give anybody advice at all.
Yeah.
Just say it's the only advice I feel like I would be fine with giving would be giving like a teenager or something. And that would just be like, hey, everything you're doing right now isn't as hard as you think it is.
Yeah.
So enjoy that a little more. But,
or even like none of this matters, like things you're doing right now. I think another thing I would do is also just educate myself more. Like if I could go back and like tell myself to read more books or something like that, I would do it. Because I feel like being
here's the good news. You have a
educated,
whole lot of life left, hopefully.
I do, yeah.
So you got plenty of time for that.
But I think the sooner that you can be, more knowledgeable, the better. And you can make better choices that will, improve the overall, status of your life. Because it's never a bad thing to, be more knowledgeable. I think that's something we can all agree on.
I think one thing that every 20-year-old should know is to not buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
I think that's
don't buy a sub to WoW. That's important. Don't do that. That can ruin your life.
Yeah, one more thing I'd say is that I guess don't feel like it's the end of the world if something doesn't work out or you don't feel like you're where you want to be in your life, even if you're in your late 20s, because fact of the matter is I know people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes even 60s that are doing things that they wanted to do much earlier in their life, but they're still doing them. So I feel like people have a stigma, especially because of previous generations, that if you don't have it all together in your 20s, if you're not married, you don't have your career started, like that's the end of the world. Like it's too late for you. Like that's just not the case. And I've certainly been in that boat myself before. I'm like, dang, like
I've had those thoughts.
So, but it's just not the case at all. So especially in the world we live in now, it's different than it was even 50 years ago, 20 years ago.
And we grew up completely different from our parents too. Like we grew up like on the internet. Like it's changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And also like
I think a great example is this, dude. My parents grew up telling me, because they were told if you don't go to college, you'll never have like a lucrative career. You'll never be successful. I could name 5 to 10 people that never went to college or dropped out of college that are 10 times more successful than I am right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. I wish I never went to college. Honestly, I just wasted a lot of money, and I went because my parents said I needed to go. Like I just listened to them, and I went, and I got a degree in something I didn't really care about that much, honestly. And I just went because I thought I needed to go. But when in reality, I should have just, educated myself more and tried new things. And maybe I would have found something more fulfilling at the end of the day. Not that I'm not happy right now, but, I'm comfortable saying I'm not where I want to be right now. And I'm still like sort of on this journey of, finding fulfillment in terms of like a career. So,
yeah. And that's also not to undermine additional education beyond high school, like whether it's like a technical college or even a university. Like I went to film school because I knew I wanted a degree in general in case I ever need it, but also just because I wanted that like formal education in addition to just my own experiences. So there's still value in those things. I'm just saying it may not be for everyone.
Yeah, we're not like knocking college. Like if you want to be a doctor, you need to go to school. Yeah, like you have to.
I learned everything I know on YouTube, dude. I'm a brain surgeon. YouTube tutorials, dude.
But yeah, there's obviously careers that you need to, be in college for. Like we're not going to sit here and knock college because it's, it just depends what you want to do. Like everyone just needs to, like for me, that's always been like the biggest challenge is trying to find something that I'm fulfilled in and that satisfies me. And, I'm still on that journey. So don't feel bad if you're like asking this question, Mason, because like I don't want to put you on the spot, but like you haven't figured things out yet. Like everyone figures them out at their own pace, and you know, it's just important to not lose faith in the process or the journey, I guess, because it'll work out for everyone. It has to, you know. And if it doesn't, you keep trying. That's the journey of life, right? Yeah, that's all I got.
What do you got, Poobah? Just the Xbox?
Just the Xbox.
That's probably the most important point we made, if we're being honest.
If we're being honest, yeah, for sure.
All right, you guys read the other questions. I keep butchering them, and I don't want to.
All right, I'll get this one. Why are you buying? This is from what is that?
This is a simple answer too.
Yeah, I couldn't say his name.
It's Wea on Twitter. Why are you buying the PS5? What is it about Sony that keeps you returning the next gen when you have a PC?
All together now, exclusives.
If they put them on PC, then yes, we would not have to buy a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a great day.
That would, man. I would love that so much if they're like, hey, everything from now on, PS5 and PC.
Dude, and then put trophies still like kind of how it is with Game
Transfer
Pass,
them?
where you can still get achievements on your profile. That would.
Like I know they want to push console sales, but man, give us the option.
Yeah, give us that Sony, like give us a Sony app on my computer where I can just open it up and have the whole library of Sony exclusives. That's just like anything you want to buy through their store.
Heck yeah, bro.
Gosh. Now give me that.
Final question. Bruce Bogtrotter off Twitter. Happy 4th of July, guys, from the UK. What was the first game you ever remember playing? Being born in 1989, mine was Altered Beast on the Sega Mega Drive. Genesis in the US, I think. Me and my dad used to play that game all the time. Brings back happy memories. My first game I ever remember playing was, I believe, it was on Super Nintendo, Spider-Man and X-Men, like Arcade's Revenge.
It's the first game I ever played in my entire life.
Really bad game.
Yep.
Really bad. But that's the first one I ever remember playing.
Yeah, same. That's odd. That's
Wait,
the
both
most
of you?
one. Yeah, because my mom's
I
cousin
got it
when I
Christmas
was
morning.
and my mom's cousin when I was 5 gave me his SNES at my grandparents' house in Jacksonville, Florida, and I played it on an old tiny little TV for the first time.
Now, the thing with that little asterisk next to that probably, which I'll actually guarantee, that's not the first game I ever played. That's the first game I remember playing, though. I could not tell you the first game I actually played first.
Yeah, like maybe you were just a kid and you went over someone's house and they had a game, like you just don't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, my first memory of playing a game was one of my early birthdays. I got a purple see-through Game Boy Color. And with that came Pokemon Blue. And that was my very first game of all time. And to this day, I still love Pokemon. Definitely not as into it as I was, with like Blue and then Gold and Silver. Like that was probably the pinnacle of my interest in Pokemon, I would say. Especially Gold and Silver. Like I bought the strategy guide when that came out. Dude, I was obsessed with that game. And it's still to this day one of my favorite games because it's not only do you like have that whole journey in Johto, but then you get to go back and like have all these nostalgic experiences through the old region in Kanto. So,
dude, that game has one of the most epic final bosses ever.
It does, dude.
Fighting
it took
Red.
me so long to beat him.
Dude, just the music, just dun 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 da 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 dun.
And you're like,
just
there he is,
so
dude.
Quiet. Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Games are great, man. Love them.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Jacob, today I'd love to. I mean, Preston and I are going to do our spoiler cast at some point, but I'd like to try some Hunt with you. And if you're up for it, I'd like to dabble in Hyper Scape, see if we like it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get access first.
You guys are like beta right now?
Yeah, you got to watch a stream for a chance to get a
so
key.
Stupid. Holy crap. I'm not doing that twice. It was one thing for Valorant, dude. I'm not doing that for Ubisoft's stupid
I mean, I
Battle
watched
Royale
one
game.
for 10 minutes and I got access. So maybe it's that quick.
I still can't think of that D word that means like you're drawing inspiration for something, like you're pulling from it. Can't remember. It's driving me crazy. Whatever. But that was episode 238 of the It's Obvious podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I love talking about all the topics today. It was great. And we're grateful for your continued support. If you enjoyed this podcast and you don't know where to listen, you can listen in multiple places. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, a million other RSS feeds that I keep forgetting exist. YouTube as well for the video version. Of course, connect with us on social media at ItsObviousGaming on all platforms. We'd love to connect with you there. Join us on our Discord channel where the community exists, and we all have just wonderful conversations day in and day out about the gaming world, life. Everything you can imagine is there on Discord, so we invite you to join us, and we love you guys to bits. Wherever you are in the world, we wish you all the best. I hope you have a blessed and wonderful week in spite of the pandemic and everything going on in the world. We hope you're well, and we love that we can just walk away from the world from a bit and talk about games and stuff we're excited about for a couple of hours each week. So that's all from me, gentlemen. Any closing thoughts?
Well, thank you for watching, and wear a mask, please.
Oh, I ordered a pretty sick mask. By the way, quick plug. One of the podcasts I helped launch and produce is called Somebody's Son. It is a very uplifting, encouraging podcast, especially for men. It's designed for men. Women can get a lot out of it too. I believe we actually had surprisingly far more feedback from women than men so far. But if you're interested in checking out a podcast that I am an off-camera co-host of, I'm primarily just a producer, but really awesome, uplifting podcast. Somebody's Son is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. I can drop a link in Discord if you guys are interested. But if you want a cool custom fit mask, one of our sponsors is God Got Us. It's a Christian clothing company. It's the customizable kind that you can like secure behind your ears at like whatever fits you perfectly. And it has their logo across the front in 3 different colors. And you also get a discount through the podcast if you want a custom fit mask. So it comes with 2 filters. Each last for 6 months. So you're good for the foreseeable future of the pandemic if you order one. But that's my only plug for this week.
Pretty solid.
Nice.
Yep.
Very
That's
cool.
it. That's it for me, gentlemen.
Absolutely. I think that's it for me as well. I hope everybody has a
Cool.
great week.
By the way, you should be about to jump into the spoiler cast of Last of Us if you're listening to the audio version. If not,
Yep.
it'll be standalone on YouTube. So yeah, love you guys to bits, and we'll catch you again very soon.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.